Welcome to Geometry by Harold Jacobs. Most geometry texts for high school read like a reference manual. Here are the facts. Here's what you can do with them. But the geometry text by Harold Jacobs is radically different. Even if you've taught geometry a few times, this text will make you a better instructor. Well, how can that be? If there ever was a place where math could be beautiful, geometry is it. But it's not just art. It's architecture, sports, biology and chemistry, puzzles, and perplexing images from M.C. Escher, who was the master of impossible images and amazing tessellations, and ambigram artist Scott Kim. Every lesson in this text has several connections to the real world. Harold Jacobs makes citations to more than 250 books, including, of course, Euclid's Elements, but also books from authors like Isaac Newton and Martin Gardner. In fact, with the copious works of Martin Gardner out there and the number of references to his work from this text, it could be inferred that Gardner co-wrote this text. That should tell you something. Gardner wrote a very popular column on mathematics and puzzles in Scientific American magazine for 25 years. People loved reading it. It sold magazines. What could it do for a geometry class? So how does a busy instructor approach this higher plane of existence while managing multiple classes and modern teaching challenges? Answer: you get help. In 2003, when this text was first published by Freeman, Harold Jacobs supplied a lesson plans manual, which you see here. There was also a book of images that could be photocopied onto transparencies for the overhead projector, which is an obsolete piece of presentation technology. Those images were also in presentation files for either PowerPoint or Keynote. When the publication moved over to Master Books, that manual vanished, and so did the presentations. A few copies still exist out there on eBay. But you're in luck. In my set of presentations, I have included all of those images and their explanations, along with all of Harold Jacobs' lesson plans in the presenter notes. This makes this text much more interactive. This is a rich resource of material that is in addition to the text. It's not currently available from the publisher. An example is shown on this slide where a Rube Goldberg comic strip is used to illustrate deductive reasoning. A series of if-then events starts with a flame that sets a curtain on fire and ends with the gentleman on the right getting his back scratched. Geometry can encompass jaw-dropping beauty and silly nonsense. How to know you know is the purpose of teaching deductive reasoning. Truth is sometimes something that can be demonstrated and sometimes held in your hands. The lesson plans manual was laid out like this, with images of the transparencies or slides across the top of the page and information to accompany the lesson. This is the data that has been transferred to these presentations. The notes often contained web references for even more exploration. I checked every one of those, and many had either vanished or changed location. I updated these or made substitutions. In my own research, I often found new developments on many of these topics and supplied links to that as well. So, what comes with my presentations? All of Harold Jacobs' lesson plans, edited and updated by me for 2026. This is how Jacobs presented this to his classes, based on a few decades of instructing and 3 editions of his text. You get some additional material based on my having taught this text or its prior editions since 1998 to engage your class and develop more understanding. Some of this is often done with patty paper. What's that, you ask? What's it doing in a geometry class? In my never-to-be-humble opinion, patty paper is only the second best contribution to geometry education after the text by Harold Jacobs. I'll leave a link to a patty paper demonstration in the description. You get answers for the homework problems in the presentations along with discussion about the homework with links and references cited in that discussion. You can go over all of the homework with your class. Perhaps most important, these presentations put the instructor in control. There is a complete script in the presenter notes, but no narration is supplied. You don't have to listen to a talking head like me droning on with a lot of right and okay. You, the instructor, may read the presenter notes or launch off of it based on your understanding of your students. As you present, watch your students for their understanding. Let them ask questions as they come to mind. Hop over to the web and find more good data. Please, don't plop a student in front of these to read through on his or her own. At minimum, a parent is needed to make the journey with the student. So how do you get these? Well, send me an email. I'll leave my address in the description as well. What does $89 get you? You will receive a USB flash drive that will contain what you see here. A quick start README file. Information for students on how to get organized. This is a little presentation for them. And for instructors on how to use the presentations along with my best teaching tips. You get presentations for Keynote, one for each chapter. It's possible to export these to PowerPoint, but since I don't have a subscription to Microsoft's Office suite, I am unable to check how that might come out. There are builds on many of the slides, little animations that show what idea went where. These sometimes do not make the transition to another platform. The flash drive also comes with a file of handouts for each chapter for students to follow along with some of the presentations. It comes with a set of files for making flashcards to drill postulates, theorems, and definitions. One file for each chapter. It comes with a complete list of books used by Harold Jacobs that contributed to this text. Outside of the material on this flash drive, you will need only your own copy of the text and the teacher's guide from Master Books with the test bank. Happy instructing! I love to answer questions about teaching from this book and the Harold Jacobs algebra text. Use my email address to find me. That's all for now.